In this video, I'll be reviewing the newest units that are being added to Fire Emblem Heroes through the Renewed Spirit banner. This time, it's a little different, since the data mine for these units came out with legendary Selkie, probably to save some trouble when New Year comes, and I can review these units before the trailer even came out, which is about a week before they got even announced, so yeah, this is a bit faster. And starting off with the biggest bomb ever seen in Fire Emblem Heroes, New Year's Anna. After asking for an out for almost 3 years for Anna, we finally got her. She's the second red bow unit, right after Green, and Anna is an infantry unit with very high base stats, including 40 speed with a super boon, which can grant her amazing speed stats, which are great for running Flashing Blade, the recent Close Call, and in the future a special that can increase damage based on your speed, which I'm still waiting for. She also gets 37 res, which is really high and makes her a really good tank for mages, especially considering she can counterattack due to her ranged weapon. Her attack is also pretty good at 34, which is low for some units, but is just about what bow units get. And that makes her rely more on specials to deal damage, which, make her speed amazing for double and for charging up her special, and her res even better for iceberg procs. Her defense is significantly lower than her res, so it's best not to invest on it. She comes with Fortune Bow, an inheritable weapon that inflicts Death Res -5 on any foes that have 3 or more res less, so the res stat is less 3 it's 3 points less than Anna's. And if at the start of turn they're adjacent to any foes. At the start of turn. Yeah, it's complicated to explain, but it's essentially Sabotage Death Res. And works in the same way as any Sabotage skills or even a Versus Knight, but it has less effect. The Sabotage skills normally inflict -7 on your foe, and this Sabotage Death Res inflicts only -5 on the foe. And to combo with that, she also gets Sabotage Attack 3. And that will make her fully utilize her resistance, which makes her a really good support unit. Backed up by her support skill, Rally Death Res Plus. An amazing skill for support that, well, it won't benefit Anna at all. Just like Attack Speed Gap, her C skill, which grants attack speed +5 to the ally with the highest attack speed sum on your team, excluding Anna. This skill is just like the Ruse was for Faint skills, a power-craft version. So, Gap is for the opening what Ruse was for Faint. And it's great for offensive units, because more attack and more speed is always better. It's especially good with legendary Selkie, which it's out right now, and many other speedy or strong units. Well, Defense Stress Gap, which we had some time ago, is a better choice for defensive teams. None of Anna's skills really give her an edge in combat, so there are better skill sets to use with her, with for example Bouquet Bow, Swift Sparrow, and Desperation for offensive player phase, or Guard Bow and Warding Stance, or Quick Riposte. No, yeah, her speed is good. Enemy phase stuff for better defensive enemy phase. She gets enough res to make a good enemy phase, and she also gets good offenses to make a good player phase. So it's kind of up to you how you build her. And well, the next unit is also really strong, but it's in terms of resistance. Selkie, a colorless beast cavalier, which has amazing 40 res, and guess what? A super boon. Of course it's a super boon. And the super boon might sound useless at first because, well, it's just she will tank it, but she cannot counterattack. But her PRF, New Fox Kid Fang, really makes use of it, because it accelerates your cooldown by 1, which is nice for faster procs, but here comes the busted part. Well, there are so many effects on this skill. It also deals true damage equals to 70% of how much res Selkie has over her opponent, up to +7. So, if Selkie has 10 res more than her opponent, 70% of that difference will be of a total to plus 7 damage. She also reduces all damage taken, even from AoE specials, by 4% by every point of rest she has over her foe, up to 40% damage reduction, which is basically close call, which we've seen from Marita, but it works with rest instead of speed, and it grants up to 40% damage reduction. The difference is it's exclusive to Selkie because it's a PRF, so yeah, there will be no opportunity to make cool shenanigans with it. And also from New Fox Kid Fang, she can also transform into a beast and inflict attack defense -4 on foe, and also foe cannot make a follow-up attack if Selkie is transformed. Okay, that was pretty hard to say. Basically, there are dozens of PRFs and skills all added up onto Selkie's New Fox Kid Fang. Prepare for a lot of surprises when you forget one of its effects, because you usually think of a weapon and it's like, oh, it grants her that. But Selkie has so much stuff to add onto it because you're going to forget some of its effects, do the math wrong, and not kill her. And well, she also gets a nice speed of 39, and it should require really little support from her allies to double many units. While her low attack of 31 means she needs the iceberg procs to kill, which might even be a one-shot with such high res. Her speed is her defense is pretty disappointing, but the damage reduction from her weapon really makes up for it. She also gets sabotage speed to make even more use of her res, because, well, apparently she wasn't, while odd res wave also helps proc it more often. Basically, if you get odd res wave and a super boon on her res, she gets to 50 resistance easily, which is, going to proc New Fox Kid's effect against, well, most of the units in the game. There are few units that can reach high res stats like that. She brings also a brand new skill, Distant Ward, which grants Selkie the ability to counterattack regardless of foe's range, which is distant counter, but here's the kicker. You only get the ability to counterattack regardless of foe's range if foe uses stones, staffs, or dragon stones, along with getting attack rest +5 during combat, which will make Selkie even more bulky. And the great part about it is that it is inheritable to any melee unit. Even infantry, armored, and flying units can get this, which is amazing and means Selkie is now one of the most valuable fodderable units. The problem with this skill is that it does not work against dagger or bow foes, but that's really not much of a problem considering what you get from this skill, and because it gets you more res, and that wouldn't be useful against dagger or bow foes. And on top of all that, she's a colorless beast, which means she won't suffer from weapon triangle disadvantage, which is great for survival while being awful for killing, because it means she doesn't get weapon triangle advantage as well. And well, overall, she is an amazing unit, and I really don't see any reason why not to pull for her. And we also get another cavalry beast, but she's green, and it's Lethe. She basically gets Selkie's weapon, but instead of getting cooldown reduction, it grants speed +3, and it changes all times Selkie's New Fox Kid Fang mentioned res, so it reduces damage by res, it grants more damage by res, all that you change for speed, which is amazing because Lethe gets base 41 speed, and guess what? A super boon! She gets speed +3 from her weapon, and if with a super boon, 47 speed with no merges. What she gets from her weapon is Close Call 3, plus Gig Excalibur / Mia's Refine effect, plus speed +3, which is super simple and not absurd at all. Same thing as Selkie, you will do the math wrong and you die / not kill her because you forgot to add up the numbers. And the great part about Lethe is, regardless of her attack and speed, she's a green cavalier, which means red units are especially dangerous against her, especially mages or dragons, considering her low 18 res. Regardless of her damage reduction, she is going to suffer from those, along with the dangers of cavalry effective weapons, and there are many of those. Why did I say the great part about Lethe? Well, it's because if you see one of those, she's easily killed. Unlike Selkie, because she's she's a colorless beast, and so far we only have what? Ninnis' Icelands and Flora's Sehemnir and Eldamnir from Felicia. Which, oh boy, let me tell you, Selkie's gonna be tough to kill. And well, Lethe's attack is a little better than Selkie's at 35, especially considering she gets the amazing attack speed solo and little speed defense. And also the effect she gets when transformed, which means mostly more speed for her, while also granting her more attack at that, so she's going to deal some damage. Overall, Lethe is also amazing, but there's still Selkie. Both of them are really good, but Selkie has the advantage due to her new skill, even though both have the same busted weapon. Our next unit is also pretty insane as well. What's going on? Oh, these New Year resolutions are pretty insane. Starting off with a Nana out, which, I mean... and we have Alfonse and Sharena, Ascron Duo. Something that might convince you to get him is his duo effect, which is to reduce cooldown by 2. Which is to reduce cooldown by 2 for every infantry ally, so it's not affecting any armored units nor any flyers, within 3 rows and 3 columns centered on unit. Meaning targets a pretty wide area, so it's not that wide of an area as other effects. For example, Hector curved a pretty big area in in columns, and Marth covers a pretty wide row in area in rows, and well, it grants cooldown by 2, reduces cooldown by 2 for him and his allies, which can make any unit into Ophelia, because for example, Igreen, she needs to first attack, then to go on and utilize her damage reduction special spiral. But with that help, she can be just like Ophelia, get quick instant cooldown, quick and instant specials. And if you don't want to get fast specials, you can also get faster ether procs or any slow special like Miracle. And Alfonso and Sharena also get 3 super boons, which is insane in and of itself, but only 2 of those really benefit him, which are his 2 strongest stats: attack and defense, of 38 attack and 35 defense, which are pretty insane at that, especially for a blue mage. This base really might be weird for a blue mage, especially because, well, blue mages usually have high speed and low defense, but Alphonse inverts them and gets 35 defense and only 17 res. Another thing that's really great about them is that they have close counter, which is an amazing skill, and we only had 2 units with it, both released on the first year of the game, Takumi and Winter Tharja. It's an especially good skill for his high defenses, and since his res is pretty... for his defenses in general, because it also works against Dragonstone allies, Dragonstone foes. And, well, he has also a pretty good res of 30, so it's even better to counterattack these foes. And his res is especially high of 30 comparing to normal Alphonse. He also gets Special Spiral 3, but that might seem useless at first, because he also gets his dual skill. But by analyzing his other skills, we can see the synergy between Imbued Coma, which is his weapon, and it reduces cooldown by 1, making his special only have 2 charge, which is also perfect for his dual skill for instant procs. And at the start of turn, if his special is ready, grants him plus 5 to all stats, and foe cannot make a follow-up attack, which is amazing to grant him more attack and more bulk, and compensating for his low speed and making foe not be able to make follow-up attacks. And his special, Open the Future. It has only 3 cooldown, and it's even faster with his dual skill and special spiral, because you can only use a dual skill once per map, and his special spiral can go on infinitely. Open the Future is a personal skill that is essentially Bonfire, the same damage, 50% of your defense, and same cooldown, but it adds the effect of healing 25% of damage dealt, which is great for his high attack and defense, because more damage and more healing. It's also a 500 SP cooldown, which means it grants the same arena scoring as Ether, while being faster to proc and having more synergy. He also gets Death Res Oath, which is great for tanking even more hits from both melee and ranged opponents. And it's also a great skill for fodder, because Death Res is always useful for tanky units. And overall, Alfonse and Sharena make for a pretty cute couple. I know they're siblings, but still. And also a pretty powerful duo, posing a big threat for many units. And the last unit is our Tempest Trials reward, which comes out January the 2nd, Air. Air is still a dagger flying unit, but this time she's a red unit instead of her usual colorless. She gets an improvement to her HP, defense, and res, at just the cost of some attack and speed, with 32 attack, which, I mean, does not seem great at all for damage, but she gets the weapon triangle advantage, which should be enough to kill green units, at the cost of suffering a lot from blue foes. The main problem is that instead of getting the godly Lithjaberg, her normal PRF, she gets the normal support dagger. It's the same effect as Ana, but instead of inflicting Death Res -7, inflicts attack speed -7, along with getting the dagger 7 effect. Her base kit would have been much better if it was more similar to Ana, but she gets skills more towards fodder than to personal use or support, being her brand new Tamari Plus, Res and Attack Res, which was really exclusive and hard to get, and Speed Tactic, which means now Legendary Lyn officially does not have a use for fodder anymore. You can get a 5-star and a 4-star Air from Tempest Trials, and you have to wait until February to get her for Grails and to get the potential to get her to Plastana. The other great news are the Tempest Trials reward. 3 seals, which are HP Defense, Speed Feint, and at long last Swift Sparrow, which is the most insane and most useful seal to get, because it improves both units' attack and speed, which is always great for strong or speedy units, or both of them. I mean, it's great. And even you give it to, for example, Elincia for Swift Sparrow 7. And well, that has been it. These have been my opinions on the newest heroes and the newest banner. And if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and a comment with your own opinions. And well, see you next time, and may you get good pulls.